First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of shit.
Sometimes my mama said, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay, Lamont, go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani practices voodoo.
What?
So he put a voodoo hex on my girl, Hillary, and that's why she got woozy.
Yo.
And the Secret Service had to prop her up and put her in the van.
Bro, take us to a break, my dude.
It was voodoo, son.
I don't know about that voodoo.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. What is really good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Three Black Guys with a Mic, the podcast where politics meet pop culture in hip-hop debate style. I am your host, Spud, along with my man Lamont Hayes and MJ Scales, our political nerd, guru, junkie, whatever you want to call him. He
I gotta be a nerd
all
these
about
days?
the politics.
I'm a nerd now?
I mean, political nerd, political junkie, political this, you just a, you political fanatic, whatever it is that you want to be called.
I thought it was funky fresh.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody who is on with us right now live on Facebook. If you are on live with us Facebook right now and you see the thumbs up button, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, share it with your friends, share it on your page right now, so that way more people can be able to be in tune with this conversation. If you are watching this live on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button so that way you can subscribe to more episodes. If you would like to be a part of the show, you can click the link in the show notes and we will put you live on this episode. If you want to be a guest, then you could do that. Do that. Well, where do we start, ladies and gentlemen? It is now Monday, November 9th, 2020.
7 days ago, we were in a whole different world.
7 days ago, the world said that Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick was going to be a free man, and I don't know about y'all, but I ain't seen the man walk out yet. So, is my mind's playing tricks on me, or did they let him out quietly, or is Kwame just not going to get out?
He ain't getting out now.
Be careful, because again, and y'all just forgive me, I'll just wrap it up my Spectrum payment so, I don't get disconnected while we podcasting. But anyway, he was supposed to have been getting out based upon COVID. So, it was a COVID release. So they wasn't directly allegedly related to DJT and his squad. So it's still possible if that's what they were going for, you know what I'm saying? But Pfizer said that the vaccine on the way, so Kwame might have to just chill. Maybe Pfizer sent a little note to the detention center and said, "Hold up, we got something coming." I don't know.
So needless to say, he's gonna have to do the whole bid, huh?
But I'll tell you what, if it was supposed to be a COVID release, and you're right, that's what they were saying it was going to be related to.
Allegedly.
They didn't waste no time giving Michael Cohen his COVID release.
Well, come on, man.
Didn't waste no time with that.
Was he going to go back? When the Pfizer, you know what I'm saying?
You know what? But I heard somebody say that. I don't know the rules and regulations, but I did hear that if you got out on that release and everything got chilled, that you got to come on back home.
I want to wear my glasses.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
I mean, you got to put them on, on your eyes. I mean,
right. You got to look through them. You got to use them, ain't it?
Right now, you're looking like the Humpty Dance. You have to put them up a little bit, homeboy. Right now, you're looking like, what's Ricky Smiley's grandma name? The character name? Miss Jenkins reading the announcements. That's what you look like right now.
No, you're actually, I can see near, so they for distance. So I'm gonna put them off. I don't need them, especially if you're gonna clown me for the Humpty Hump.
It's all good. All right, so what's next? Do we start with the Joester and Kamala and?
I mean, can we talk about but can we talk about all of the buck dancing and pop locking and the crying and the doing the worm up Black Lives Matter Avenue? Can we talk about that for a second?
Is that what they were doing? I missed that.
They were doing the worm, my guy.
The centipede? The worm or the centipede?
Yo, they was, I'm sitting up there, and again, you can't tell somebody how to feel, but I think sometimes we just really get extra with stuff. And God bless my. Actually, let me be careful how I say that because that's mine. But I'm gonna say people that I know, they hit that whole sorority thing to the nth degree, boy. You thought the takeover was about to go down. You know what I'm saying? So
What's the AKA Strong? Set
I
it
don't.
up on the left, yo. Set it up on the right, yo. Get it off.
That
I
was
think that's the AKA Strong.
boy. They was going up and down Woodward Avenue
Set it
like
up on the right,
But so Lamont,
yo.
though,
Set it up on the left, yo.
you saying that about them, but there are a lot of folks out there who were out there 4 years ago who were doing some things out in the streets. I mean, Donald Trump got his own little that thing.
Well, no. I'm saying, you know what? I get it. And again, I'm not gonna lie to either one of y'all. When it came across, I was happy. Like I said, I wanted Philly to get that W because Georgia gonna have a chance to get that W in a hot second when we need them to pull it out. And they still did their thing. Don't get it twisted. But I really wanted. It was really symbolic for Philadelphia, the whole Pennsylvania thing, because that's where he's from. But it took the brothers and the sisters inside of Maynard. Help me out. Philadelphia County. That's correct.
Delaware County, Bucks County.
But Philly is
Chester-
inside of what county?
Well, Philadelphia, but it was Delaware County and Chester County where these large populations or these large concentrations of votes definitely came. And these are the suburbs that immediately surround Philadelphia. Like, you could drive in and out of Chester County into Philadelphia and not know you were even in Chester County. So Delco, City Line Avenue, it's the same thing. So, but it was the Philadelphia metropolitan area that did that.
Yeah, so for me, I'm glad that they were able to flip the switch. You know what I'm saying? And then they came to the party first and they closed it out. You know what I'm saying? And because still the reality, when I looked at the map or the map of Pennsylvania, it was a whole lot of red on that map, bro. Quite a bit of red.
Yeah.
And, so good for them. And again, Georgia, y'all next up because we got to figure out this Senate thing. I don't know if y'all did it, but send them people $25. You know what I'm saying? So they can do what they need to do down there in Georgia.
Well,
for those who don't know what's going on in Georgia, can we kind of break that down? So, because unfortunately, what a lot of people do is they kind of like, oh, yeah, we won the war, you know what I'm saying? And right now we won the battle, but we ain't win the war yet.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? We got to flip those Senate seats, you know what I'm saying? So we can, man, you know what I'm saying? Take a moment, break down what's happening in Georgia so that way people, know. And then, you know what I'm saying, we can expand on what Lamont is saying on the importance of actually, campaigning or either sending money or making sure that we could do everything we can to be able to make sure that those Senate seats are an effect. One of the things that, I appreciate what Andrew Yang was saying. He was saying that, all of our eyes right now should be focused on Georgia.
Right.
And anything that you can do, whether you have family, if you can go down there and campaign, whether it be financial or whatever you could do to be able to get those two seats, knocked out, that would be, important. So go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I think to set it up quite simply, there were two Senate seats that were up. One was a special election and one is a regular election. And both of them were hotly contested. Purdue is the Republican, and he was running against Ossoff. And they came in Georgia, they have a rule that you have to have 50 plus 1 or 50.1 and probably actually 51 if you want to avoid a recount or what have you, percent of the vote to win. If you don't achieve 50%, even though you may be in the lead, you have to run again. So they're going to have what they call a runoff election. So Ossoff ran against Purdue, and it came in 49.3 to 49.7 to 47.9. Ossoff being with 47.9, and that one is kind of tight. Obviously, they're very close, but there were some other candidates in that race, and the challenge with that is the other one candidate that pulled the biggest piece, another 3% out of there, roughly 2.some%, is a libertarian, and libertarians typically vote Republican if they can't vote libertarian. But in the other race, where Pastor Warnock is running, an African American pastor in Atlanta, and also in Martin Luther King's church, Martin Luther King Jr.'s church. He ran and he got the largest percent of the vote at 33% roughly. But there were two Republicans that both got in the mid-20s. So that meant that they're close to getting to 50% by themselves. So when that losing Republican, the Republican that had the fewest votes, cannot run in the runoff. So there's going to be a consolidation of Republican vote. However, I went and looked, and there were 4 Democratic candidates that ran that, and a Green Party candidate. I'm going to count that as Democrat because they typically vote left. That when you add that up, that was 16, 17%. So his 33%, and if he can consolidate that Democratic vote, that will get him to 50% roughly. So that one's pretty tight. I think that looks very promising, but but there's always a challenge because when the Republicans, there were more than 2 Republicans in this race. There were maybe 4 Republicans. If Loeffler, if the female, white female who's running against Warnock, if she's able to consolidate the Republican vote and he's able to consolidate the Democratic vote, we may be at a runoff again. But
she real radical, isn't she, man?
Yeah,
she the one with the guns and the advertisements, and I'm like, yo, dog.
Yeah, she's very radical, and she's hardcore right wing. Like you said, Lamont, very big on guns. And in fact, I don't think she's an NRA candidate. She's a no compromise candidate, if I'm not mistaken. And the no compromise gang, they are close to like Proud Boy status. They when they call themselves the no compromise guys, they are no to any gun control. They want to own RPGs. They want to own tanks. They want to own, if they can afford it and if they can cash out somebody to get a nuclear weapon, they think that they're supposed to be able to own that. So they in fact think that the NRA doesn't go far enough. So that's kind of the layout up there. And so,
So let's break this, down, again, because if these 2 Democrats get in, do you think it's going to be, because I heard a little static about, about the Democrats and Joe Biden. And so is it going to be easier for Joe Biden to be able to get things done if we get the Senate back?
Certainly. If you have Democrats, even if you seem to disagree with some Democrats, you're going to probably have a lot more to agree with other Democrats than Republicans, obviously. And if we can get those 2, we'll go from 48 seats to 50 with Kamala Harris as the vice president casting the tie-winning vote. But if we get to 49,
if not,
she just gets us to...
Does Mitch McConnell, does Mitch McConnell play a role in that? If we don't? If we only get
right
one,
now, right today, if we don't get the majority, right now he is the leader of the Senate.
Right.
And so I don't know what happens exactly if we're at 50 and they're at 50 and we have the tie vote. I think basically, or the Democrats have 50 and the Republicans have 50, and then we have the vice president who also is a Democrat, thereby giving them 51, then we would have someone who will become the new Senate leader, and Mitch McConnell will be unseated.
Copy that.
Mr.
Were you going to say something, Lamont?
Just send them boys some money, because that Warnock guy, I like dude. They was out there passing them slutty vegan hamburgers out. Hey, man, let me tell you something about that slutty vegan, right? And I know it's off topic. So y'all know I have to go down there and see my dad. So I flew in straight to the egg just to go stand in line. The spot opened at 11. I touched down about 8:39, hop in the rental. I get there, it's 9:50. It's already 100 people in line, bro. Damn. Because I still ain't got one of them sandwiches, but it's coming. It's coming. But nah, man, I don't know a lot about his politics, but I do know a lot of people on the ground that I know, family members and all, that are definitely rolling with this guy. So sometimes that's enough for me. So send them people $25.
Man, I mean, Lamont, let's start with you. So when you heard the news about, Joe and Kamala getting the nomination, what was your immediate reaction? How did it make you feel? What did it make you feel?
Well, let's be clear. I had a chicken wing in my mouth with a little blue cheese dressing dripping on the side.
Very descriptive.
I mean, I didn't really feel any kind of way because we saw the way the tide was turning. I mean, this is a numbers game in terms of electoral college numbers. We already know no matter how they try to spin it, Joe still had the popular vote. I mean, let's be clear. Hillary had the popular vote. But I think the blue team figured out this time how to play the electoral college game that Hillary kind of knew about, but I don't think she put her A team in. You know what I mean? So I just was like, okay, cool. But then me probably being a little bit more knowledgeable and understanding because of Maynard Scales and Charles Spud Spence, I knew that just wasn't it. You know what I mean? All of the pop locking and the high fiving and all of the, the we shall over all that. That's pomp and circumstance. Again, it's good. I think for me, and I told this to somebody, one of the things I think made me feel the best about this was the little girls that are looking at Kamala Harris, the little 7-year-old, the little 6-year-old, the little 10-year-old or 12-year-old, because this is going to be their norm. Their norm is not going to be somebody who doesn't look like them being a VP. And I think if anything other than that, because Joe is kind of in trouble. Joe, if you listen to him, he done flubbed a few times. He done blah, 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 blah. I don't know if that's the Alzheimer's kicking in already. I don't know if that was a mild stroke that was going. But Joe is really only running at about 72%. So I need baby girl, and I don't want to be deemed to be disrespectful to Madam Vice President-elect, but I need that squad that they're going to put together to be super tight, because we're going to kind of have to put a stick up behind Joe sometime. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he going to come in with the relationships. He's going to be able to come across the aisle, because don't get it twisted. Him and Mitch McConnell probably used to smoke weed back in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? All of those Republicans that are 65 plus, they always, they used to run together. They play golf. So I think from that perspective, he's part of that inside, structure that is going to help. But, we need Kamala and squad on the ground behind the scenes really making it happen. I think that's going to be a good thing. I know that was long. That's what we doing?
Are we on a delay or?
Yeah, what we doing now, man? Where we at?
That was coming in from my Russian feed. I'm sorry. Vladimir Putin, cranked in.
I mean, shout out to Vladimir Putin. Can we talk about the president? But go ahead. I mean, the current president. But go ahead, man. How did you feel that night? Were you crying? Were you pop locking?
I'm beyond the years of pop locking, so no. But I will say
Did
this.
you shed a Van Jones tear?
Oh.
Clown, my guy. I forgot about that clown. Go ahead, man.
What was wrong with Van Jones?
No, dog.
Why y'all be hating on Van Jones?
Van Jones is whack.
He's super whack.
It's good to, you know what I'm saying? You could be a parent today. You could be, it feels better to be a parent today than it did.
Can we trade Van Jones for Jake Tapper?
We can definitely do that.
Yeah, I want Jake. We can trade Van Jones for Jake Tapper. He can come on our team because Jake is a dog.
I feel like this. I was relieved. I think I'm going to say something that we talked last week, and after the show, I sensed that I feel like all of our energy collectively was waning, and I think that this, we got. It's easy to understand and confess to. This election has been. I mean, this campaign season has been tiring. It's been. There's a lot of anxiety. There's some, just a lot of stress. So I felt relieved. I certainly felt like, if here's the thing I think that is important. Now, right now, it's starting to separate even more, 75 million plus to under 71 million. So Joe is, or 71 million. Joe is going almost at this 5 million popular vote mark to basically try to shut it down. But what we also got to recognize is that 47, 48, 49% of America said a racist president is okay. Draining is a good word, Tina. But 49% said a racist president is okay. And at some point, I really kind of, even though I'm happy that we're where we are, I feel like, like America, like,
But Maynard, but wasn't George Washington a racist?
Sure. Sure.
Wasn't Abraham Lincoln?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we can go down the list. What the majority of them
It's
racist?
hard to find one that wasn't. And even,
So-
but I'm saying, America, we've been doing this a long time. Like, you know, you don't like us that much. We don't like you that much. Like, what can't we? Maybe we should be able to see other countries or something. I don't know. Like, we need to, you know what I'm saying, break up or so. I don't know. I really feel uncomfortable saying that I have an expectation.
When you say we need to break up, who needs to break up?
Minorities need to break up with America. Like, maybe we just need some space. Maybe we need time apart because if 49%.
So the blacks, we need to go back to Africa, and the Mexicans, they need to go back to Latin America, you know, South America, Mexico.
I know it sounds,
you know, the whole 9 yards, and then we can come back later.
I know it sounds radical, but you know, Brother Farrakhan has always said, you know, maybe we just need a part of America that's ours, and y'all need a part of America that's y'all's. I don't know if that's really the answer. I just feel like no matter what we do, we still are winding up living with half of America or more having
can I ask
problems
a
with black
question?
people. Go ahead, Lamont. I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry, just wait before you go, Maynard. I mean, Lamont. And the problem with what your point is, Maynard, is that there's probably more of them that we just don't know about, or we know that just are not saying anything about it.
There's a lot of people
that they are, you know,
a lot of
kind
people who
like
will go with who
playing the role of being on our team, and they're really not.
they'll go with whoever has the loudest voice. So if Joe Biden has the loudest voice, there's a handful of Democrats that'll be like, okay, I'll go with Joe. But you know, every once in a while,
Or some of them are like, yeah, Black Lives Matter until
right.
he said until
Until somebody come home with my daughter.
until somebody come on my porch, until, you know, it's no different. I was watching Reconstruction, you know, this weekend, and you know how they were talking about the, you know what I'm saying, the black farmers in the 1800s and how it was all good. It was like, you know, the poor whites and the black, you know, farmers were making a coalition to basically be able to partner with each other to be able to, you know, make some money off of land. And then the government and the white supremacists came through and, you know, told the poor whites, like, if you come over here, you don't really like those black folks no more, we probably can give you a little bit more of this. And then it was like, you know what, black folks? Y'all cool? We ain't really that cool. Go back over here with my people.
And it keeps happening
That's how
that
it
way.
is. I'm sorry, Lamont. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Maynard a question because I heard someone say this today, and I guess I never thought about it like this. How many black people are, and I guess you got to be careful with this black thing because I'm hearing now today, as of this morning, Kamala wasn't really black. She was Indian, but that's another story. We'll get to that. But if we were to put
Jamaican in her, though.
Yeah, before in 16, she wasn't claiming the black, she was claiming the Indian. So now, and then we got to talk about Eva Longoria, talking about the Latinos brought it home and the blacks wasn't this. But let's stick here for 1 second. I heard somebody say today on a talk show is that the federal government's industry is the taxpayer. And when I heard somebody say that, he said, you know, the federal government doesn't work as it should without the taxpayer. And I was like, you know, okay, that makes sense. So my question is, Maynard, how many blacks are in America? And if we took every black person in America and maybe we extend the branch a little bit, and we took that whole tax base out of this country, would the country run the same?
No. So the answer to first is somewhere between 40 and 44 million black people in America. Mm-hmm. All right. That's, you know, not a huge number based on the idea that there's 330 million people in America, but you know, we are 14%. So you do the math, 13% gets you to 30 million and you know, whatever that might be. So 40 million is a rough number. But for what it's worth, we have to understand this. Blacks, the Latinos, people with other types of skill sets, we do the hard work. We do the lifting. We are the essential workers in many instances. that certainly all of us are educated individuals. We have professional jobs, careers, companies, etc. On this podcast, and that's wonderful. But in many instances, blacks make up huge parts of the workforce in areas where white people don't want to work.
But I get the labor part. I'm talking economics. If let's say Spud, we suck Spud out, his whole household. That means Verizon gonna be down a little money. DTE, what you got? Consumer energy gonna be down. The cable man ain't gonna get as much money as they use. I'm just saying, if we sucked out all of the economic impact that black African Americans, whatever you want to call us, if we sucked it out of this country, would it be the same country?
No, it wouldn't. And in fact, and this is the challenge with African Americans. Long have we discussed that the black buying power would make us one of the largest countries by ourselves.
Third.
Third
largest? Third.
Yeah. The problem, unfortunately, is we have great spending power, but we need to try to work on getting great saving power and great investing power. So even if we decided to do that, remember, every time they give us a stimulus check, they don't want us to put that money in the bank. They want us to put that money on the street. They want us to go and buy things. And they don't care what we buy. They don't care if we buy food.
Gucci belts.
I'm sorry?
Gucci belts.
They would love it if we bought Gucci belts. Spend it as fast as possible. In one place, if at all possible.
Yes, Benihana's.
So
Benihana's. And what's the other one? Ruth Chris. That's where they want us to go with our money.
They still in business?
Ruth Chris, yeah.
Slap. Ruth, remember Ruth Chris got the money. They got that big.
Oh, they did get the PPP. I thought they gave some of it back.
PPP check, like some crazy, like 34 million or something, like some crazy number. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Y'all out here selling $47 steaks and y'all need some help?
So what do we do with the interracial couples? Are the interracial couples
split them right down the middle?
No, wait a minute.
Interracial couples allowed in the new Black America? Does half of them have to go, or do we have to, separate the kids, they get back into labor?
Yo, my man Mike Burnett been wanting to cancel Christmas for a minute. He said, we're going to cancel Christmas. We're going to see how the economy going to work after that.
Shoot, you black folks cancel Christmas. Christmas is over. Black people save their money, so on Christmas, Christmas, is a wrap. Speaking of, separation and black. And so what is Ice Cube going to do now that the Trump campaign is no longer in? And is he, what's up with the contract for Black Americans? Do we still get a contract, or do we not get a contract anymore?
Well, so according to Cube, he was told to come back after the election. Now, according to the Democrats, that's not what was said. Whichever. No more time.
Yeah, but didn't he turn down Kamala?
I don't know.
Yeah, he turned down a meeting with Kamala.
That could have happened. Here's the thing.
No, that happened. That was in an article.
Oh, Jesus.
He said, no, that happened. That happened.
Yeah. That was in an article that Cube said, nah, I'm not messing with y'all.
Well, here's the thing. We don't care if Cube is doing this or not. What we need to do is we need to understand that the heavy lifting, like we can't live in the celebration. We can't be, as Lamont say, doing the worm and pop locking and buck dancing all over. It's time to say, let us win Georgia. Like you said, Lamont, let us get these two Senate seats. We also understand we lost some seats in the House. So we're down, I forget how many, but we're still up. We still have the majority of the House, but we're down from where we were. But now is the time to put heat on all of our congressional representatives, be them senators or House of Representatives. Now is the time for us to put heat on our governors. Now is the time to tell Joe, okay, Joe, you know what I'm saying? You got to dance with the date that you brought to the party. We came with you. It was black women. And of course, as Lamont mentioned, Eva Longoria thinks that, the Latina women also are heroines, and that's fine.
Well, they showed up.
They showed up.
Like black women showed up.
They showed up.
But they showed up.
So if Ice Cube is in or out, it doesn't matter. We got to know that it's not our time to let our foot off the gas. The work continues, as Tina says.
So wait. And I want to make sure I got this straight, because I saw this on Telemundo too. because when we use
Sábado Gigante.
huh?
You speak Spanish?
Never mind. Go
A
ahead.
little bit. You know, Kanata used to work there, don't you?
No, I didn't know.
I ain't
Yeah,
know.
she used to work at Telemundo. So I got homies over there. But one of the, when they were talking about the Latino vote, they were very specific about breaking down what Latino actually means, that they're, branches on that tree.
True.
And Puerto Ricans do not mess with that red team. They were very adamant about saying that we are Puerto Ricans and we do not support, the Donald Trump mantra. Although,
Lamont,
right?
Lamont, 1 second. In fact, I got we have a Puerto Rican correspondent at the White House I want to go to for a second and see.
You know what? I forgot about that. I forgot about the toilet paper. He did do that foul. But and not, you know what? Now you bring all that together, it does make sense. But people who, I guess, of Cuban descent, they have a different, attitude about, rocking out with the red team because, he's not in the socialist game. And you use the word socialism to certain Cubans. That's their, what do you call it, man? The spud, their hot button issue. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they were just very adamant about breaking down, because with us, with the blacks, we're just all lumped together. We don't have any subsections or any branches. We're just the blacks, right?
There's no blacks.
Well, there's subsections. There's house and field.
Now that is true.
You know what?
Van, where do you belong, Van?
You know what? You get 3 points for that one. You get
no
the foul. You get the 2 points and the foul shot, bro. You right?
Yeah. No question about that one. Yeah, I'm. I don't know about that one, but yeah. God bless you. You know what I'm saying, the Latinos, and y'all showed up, and Eva Longoria. I know you want to get your props, and that's good, but Joe Biden didn't get on that stage and say thank you so very much to the Latinos to help me put me over the thing, and I got your back. He didn't say none of that.
Yo, Black Twitter came for her fast. Yeah. Black Twitter crushed that.
Yeah, he didn't say nothing about that.
And let me just say this one other thing too, because I read this other article in Essence where it broke down on the back end. Joe Biden had a lot of sisters. It wasn't even about Simone. I saw a list of about 15 names of some heavy hitting black women that really was riding for homeboy. And we ain't even talking about Stacey Abrams. Throw them regular names out the bat. So, he had the sisters on the back end, doing a lot of heavy lifting. So, like you just said, not just the women that came out and voted, but I also think it was because of that team he had back there. Like, it wasn't a whole bunch of, white suburban women that was help pushing that thing along. And I'm hoping come January, if there is a January, because Donald still ain't signed off. Donald ain't signed off. He need to check, man. He need to. What is it, man? Is it the GSA? They still got to write that
button. He might be
the
like,
GSA.
you know what? Fuck this world.
Yeah, right. So if we get to January, I'm just hoping that staff goes.
I ain't president. Nobody's gonna be president. Donald might be like.
Right. And then one more thing, and I'm done. Joe is taking them German Shepherds to the White House. I like that. He's trying to tell you he's not no punk. Because everybody can't rock with a German Shepherd. And one of them is a rescue. So ain't no telling what didn't happen to that dog. You feel what I'm saying? So German Shepherds taking a dump on the South Lawn. Hey, man, I'm down with that. Let's go.
Let me ask you this. I got 2 questions, actually. I saw in an article, I think I heard it on the news or whatever, but about the percentage of black men that actually supported Donald Trump. What is that? And it was a pretty high percentage. It was in the 20s, I think.
20, over 20.
Like 20% of black men supported Donald Trump, which is it's not a significant number, but it's a pretty good number. And I believe that number has risen. I think I heard that it rose from 2016 to 2020. What is that about? What is it about black men that decided to not or to go in that direction? I would say.
What do you think, Lamont?
Well, I want to steal from one of our homegirls. I'm not gonna say her name on the podcast. We had this conversation, and she said, Lamont, the reality is that black men still have such a deep, dark hatred for black women. I was like, huh? She said, Lamont, you will be surprised how many black men were voting against Kamala Harris. I'm like, really? She said, yes. I don't know how true that is. That was a young lady's perspective. She just was saying, like, when Kamala first put her hat into the ring, but she was this and she was that, and she was just like, Lamont.
Was that black? Was that because she was black, or was that because of her record in Oakland or in California?
Again, this young lady said that was her perspective. I thought it was interesting. Again, excuse me. I don't know how true it is. Maynard said it best. We got a lot of house and a lot of house and field out here. You know what I'm saying? It's some people that I'm just, it hurts my heart. It's some black men in Detroit, Michigan, I know voted for Donald Trump. It hurt my heart, bro. It's some city workers. It's some county workers. Well, on the quiet, they voted for Donald Trump.
Let me say,
is that because of economics, or is that just because
I don't know, but they barely got a pot to piss in. In a certain. It's not like they were voting, for their economic well-being. I don't know, and I didn't really want to get to the conversation.
Can I ask a stupid question?
What
in the hell came up with "you ain't got a window and a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of"? Who came up with that phrase? I mean, which one of y'all grandmamas came up with
Maynard?
You ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of.
That was Maynard grandma. Grandma, she brought that from the old country.
Whose grandmama came up with that one? Is what I want to know. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maynard.
I think Lamont, you're right about a part of that, and I think it was because she is a black female. Let's back up and talk about her record in Oakland or whatever. Nobody can sit here and say that they're familiar with her record in Oakland. You heard a news story. You saw 2 or 3 reports about 2 or 3 things that occurred, but nobody can sit here and say we broke down every case that she tried, and where an African-American male or female was the defendant versus a white person versus a Mexican versus a Asian. Nobody can sit here and say that they know her record. You heard a story. Also, and let us be clear, at least we know this, parts of Oakland, parts of Los Angeles, parts of Long Beach, there are issues with crime. I never if she was locking up people indiscriminately, just like go grab them and bring them here, that's a problem. But if somebody committed a crime and they went to jail as a result, what's the problem? What's the smoke for?
Yeah, no, I think you have a very valid point, and I think that one of the bigger points is, I think we talked about this last week. And I forgot what it was about, but about Kwame actually. And it is about fact checking and about doing your homework on things that you don't know about. And unfortunately, what, most of us in America do, especially black folks, and we've been guilty of it before, that you hear the surface conversation of it and you don't do your homework on everything. And so you get these perceptions about what happened and what these candidates or whoever this person's history is about, and you don't really know what the facts are. And that's really true about Kamala, but it's also true about the 94 crime bill and about Joe Biden. And even though that, because Senator Clyburn, from South Carolina, right? That's Senator Clyburn. He broke down the 94 crime bill and about what was really happening and what the history of what that was really all about. And it really, when I heard that and when I saw him speak about that, it made me look at it in a different perspective. Not that wasn't wrong. I mean, 94 crime bill was still wrong, but the reasoning behind it during the time makes you understand at a different level than you just saying, oh, Joe was, a part of the 94 crime bill, and that's just that. And so you prosecute him and you hang him on that, particular thing. And I think it kind of goes in the same way with, with Kamala and, the things that she did in California. My next question is about, what do you want to see, Maynard, with this administration? What are in the first 90 days, what do you want to see from the Biden-Harris administration?
Well, I think obviously we want to make sure that we are putting all our weight behind finding a cure or finding a way to restart the economy by eradicating the virus or bringing it down to levels where it's manageable. They say that if you can get the infection or transmission rate under 2 or 3%, then you pretty much got this thing licked. We're African Americans. Well, a couple of things that don't cost us anything that we should be able to say, let's go with that immediately. Statehood for Puerto Rico. Statehood for Washington, D.C. If you've been convicted of a low-level marijuana offense, we expunging that record. And nationwide, if you get out of prison, shout out to F1, you get out of prison, you get your vote. Going to prison and making a mistake in your past does not make you no longer a citizen of the United States. And the franchise is available to citizens. So it doesn't make you a citizen. Now that's the easy stuff. And I have concerns.
Yeah, can I echo that real quick? But not only that, once you do your time, you did your time.
You did all your time.
That, you know what I'm saying? You was convicted of a felony and all that other stuff and put it on your job application and you being discriminated against because you did, a bid. No, if I pay my debt to society and my debt is paid, my debt is paid, period. I don't owe you nothing, regardless if I was convicted of a felony or not, should not have anything to do with my past. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. I want to be cautious. We heard the word in relation to the Platinum Plan and the agenda for Black America. We heard words like opportunity zones and things of that nature. And I want to be cautious about that. We have to really look into that. And I'm gonna say this, it's longer than I want because I know Lamont needs to get in here. But what an opportunity zone could look like is, your neighborhood needs gentrification. And that to me can signal new ways of redlining. Like, we built your neighborhood up. Don't move over here. We gave you a Wawa, a Walmart, a Walgreens, and a Whole Foods. Don't move over here. So that's a new way of redlining. Also, just because when we get focused on the opportunity zone, I look at my neighborhood and say, man, this would be a great opportunity zone. I start looking like this. I start seeing this small thing. But what you wind up understanding is that the rest of the city is this big. Let me see. And I'm only focused on this. The opportunity has to be that not that the contracts to build up our communities go to the wealthy developers who make all the money anyway, but the contracts get spread around. And I don't want to just build in my community. If I'm a contractor and I'm a developer and I'm trying to get my business started, I don't want the opportunity zone to be exclusive to my neighborhood. I want to build out in Bloomfield Hills. I want to build out in Novi. I want to build in Grosse Pointe. So I think we can get very narrow and nearsighted and say, you're going to make our community better. And the last thing I'll say about it is, when we say that this is a Black neighborhood and this is a white neighborhood, that in effect is mental redlining. That means that you're not supposed to go and see that multi-million-dollar home in the suburbs because it's a white neighborhood and not a Black neighborhood. So stay where you're supposed to be. And I'm done.
Lamont?
Wow, man. Well, I want to start at the top. I got 90 days?
100.
Well, first I want
Weekends
D-Nice
too,
in the West Wing,
too.
so when the AKs come through, he can be
Set
broadcasted
it off
live
the
on
right,
Instagram.
y'all. Set it off on the left, y'all.
Let's start with D-Nice in the West Wing. Man, I'm
D-Nice is going to be doing the inaugural party.
Of course.
You know D-Nice is on he's booked already for the inauguration.
Listen. I'm with a lot of what Maynard said, but I feel like I think we need to not put too much on the plate. You know what I mean? I'm so with you about the DC and Puerto Rico, because what I never understood was how can, the whole taxation without representation thing, I never understood that. Never. Nobody can explain that to me. I'm still trying to understand how I pay tax in the state of New Jersey and it goes to some sucker in Kentucky, you know what I'm saying, who's paying 12% of what I'm paying annually, but that's another story.
You got to keep the bourbon stills open, homie.
That's whack. But anyway, I think all our tax money should stay in the state. Everybody, whatever you put in, that's what you take out. But that ain't how it works. But anyway, I saw somebody put on there about healthcare. I think if nothing else, Maynard, the only thing I would add to that, is we need to figure out how do we make this middle class a little stronger in this country? How do we make them whole? How do we make sure that whether it's the healthcare piece, whether it's can we catch them up? I mean, there are some people that have, by the grace of God, are not out on the street. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for DTE, what happens when it really get cold? It was 70 degrees up here. What happened when these temperatures get low? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's in the next 90 to 120 days from now. So I think when they put their foot on the gas, when they get in there, it's like you said, COVID. Let's figure that out. But I think that's already done. But let's figure out how do we get a lot of this middle class in this country just caught up. Let's get them from the past due status to caught up, just like in life. And then we can start to attack some of those things. But let's not put too much on the plate. Because I think when we get scatterbrained and we get all over the place, that's one of the things. Because he only got 48 months, bro. He only got most Hellcat car notes is like 72 months. You feel what I'm saying? So he only got 48, my guy. So he ain't got a lot of time. And you know what the opposition is. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to be done. Maynard, I'm with you on that DC and Puerto Rico. But the problem with that is then this country will be blue forever. And they don't want that. And they know it.
But it's either, so here's the thing. You're right. But here's the problem. 8 of the last 9 elections, the Democrats have won the popular vote in each of them.
Yeah, but that's not the deciding factor, my guy.
You're right. So
and
day
that's
101,
why the electoral set up like that, so it's lopsided.
Okay, on day 101, we got to get rid of the Electoral College. Period.
We got to wait 25 more years for the rest of these old white people to die.
Well, if we don't start today, right? No one's ever touched it, right? The healthcare debate. People think that Barack Obama brought the healthcare debate forward. The healthcare debate is 100 years old.
Yes.
Right? So if we don't start today, if we don't plant the seed now, then we'll look up and it will be another 100 years and somebody will say, why didn't we get rid of this? It came out of the Great Compromise when we, you and I, and Spud as well, became 3/5 of a man. That's where the Electoral College comes from. It is literally directly and intimately linked to slavery. It has no other purpose. Mm-hmm. And so what we need to do is we need to eradicate that. Now, Puerto Rico is 3 million, population of around 3 million. That's about 6, maybe 7 electoral votes. DC is under 1 million. It's only 3 if it came to pass. So we're talking about 9. We're not talking about, giving the Democrats or painting new blue districts that are going to be, 35 electoral college votes. We're talking about 9. But Puerto Rico this is the idiot thing about it. You're on the island of Puerto Rico, you can't vote in the election. You get on a plane, a boat, whatever conveyance, and you make it to the mainland. You don't have to do anything special. You just walk in and say, I'd like to register to vote. Here's my new address here in Miami or here in New York. And it's fine. You are a U.S. citizen. You pay federal tax money, Social Security, everything. You can't vote? And then the president gets to throw paper towels at you?
What's up?
Bowling!
I think,
Bowling!
So,
listen, I want to go back to what I think not Roderick, but somebody said about when we're talking about what's the name. Yeah, no, sex offenders definitely need to keep that that on their record. No question about that. So I think I had 2 last questions, and then I'm saying we could be we got 10 more minutes. We've debated on this podcast year after year after year about what Barack Obama did not do for black people. Specifically, all right? Let's just be specific. Lamont, if you had to have a conversation with Kamala and a sit down with Kamala and Joe, and what you want for black people before that 48 months is over. You just put it in real perspective, because I never even thought about this as Hellcat is a 72 month and they only got 48. But that's
it's way more. Some of them got 96 months, my guy.
They out here doing 96 months?
At 27%, bro. Yes.
I didn't even look at it like that. That's crazy. Anyway, to just do donuts in the street, but that's a whole other story. If you had a conversation with them, if you could talk to them, if they were listening to this podcast right now, and you could say, Joe and Kamala, this is what we need specifically for the blacks, what would that be?
I didn't say this earlier, but one of the things that I really like about, and I swear to God, I'm trying my best not to keep saying her name incorrectly. I'll just say Madam Vice President. I'll just go with that. The one thing I really like about her, if you all notice, she smiles a lot and she laughs a lot. And to me, that's a very good thing, because that lets you kind of know, to me, what's also on the inside of her, that she's human, that she, I think, is very empathetic, that she has.
I thought you were going to say her dance moves,
No, watch this. Even a couple of times she was on the campaign trail, when I saw her in sneakers, I said, yup, that's a go. Because what black woman, like, my feet hurt, I need me some comfortable shoes. Now, again, she going to get her
You want
Olivia
all new
Pope
sneakers
on.
for black people?
Stop, man. Stop with that hotep foolishness. Everybody wears sneakers, but I'm just telling you, that's the mantra in the black community with some black women is, I'm not going to get my hair wet and I'm going to put on some comfortable shoes. But anyway, I think for me, I think for the blacks, I want them just to give a lot of focus and energy towards the young people. You know what I'm saying?
Can we get a baseball team called the Blacks?
Yeah, for the blacks. That's where we at, my guy. The blacks.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know, the young people are important. You know, figuring out over these next 48 months of, you know, kind of like in the music industry, we always focus on the new emerging artists, because that's what really keeps this engine going. And I think, you know, no disrespect to Mr. Clyburn and all that, but I want to talk to that 18-year-old, that 17-year-old in South Carolina that's out in them streets that has the same energy, you know. So we're investing in that, because I think a lot of this is about an investment. And like what I said earlier, how do we figure out to help the middle class become whole? Definitely in the blacks. Because again, what I've learned is throughout my life, if you have a strong black middle class, a whole lot of stuff runs very smoothly. The dry cleaner guy, the nail tech, the guy that fixes cars, you know, whether it be in the backyard under the shade tree or in your local community.
The restaurants.
The restaurants. Sears are able to sell washing machines, even though Sears ain't around anymore. But this whole chitty bang bang
Our
run.
grandmother and grandfathers definitely ran up that Sears card, didn't they?
Come on, right? That's you know, so
Montgomery Wards, boy. If you didn't have a Montgomery Wards or a Sears card, you wasn't black.
Yeah. So, you know, focusing on that. So, and again, I get all of those other big, you know, philosophical things that we need to do and all that. And that's cool. I'll let those deep people do that. Investment in the young black community, and let's try to figure out how do we immediately try to make the black middle class at least just get them back to zero, because a lot of people are negative right now, and it's bad.
Maynard?
I think to try to further what Lamont is saying, I think there's a lot that can be done. Roderick said earlier, healthcare. I think that's right. I think being able to finance property, finance homes is important, as well as property, not just your home, but can I invest in a piece of property? Our good friend Tony Kellum always says, you know, property is power. And it is. We understood early on in this country that only people who own property could vote. So there's some power in property. I think also what can go to strengthening the middle class is debt relief related to student loans. And Mike Barnett chimed in on that at the same time. Debt relief related to student loans. If you could do that, there are some people out here like myself who owe a good deal, or people who you may own less. That student loan is preventing them from investing in business, investing in their own children's education or health. So if we could figure those two things out, I think that'd be amazing. And I think the last big thing I think is important, and Roderick also mentioned this as well, is that we have to invest in education? And this is a question I have. In fact, on the Bernie Sanders free college for all thing, think about this. The state, meaning the United States and your local state, is required to pay for education from kindergarten to 12th grade for everybody. If you show up or not show up, if you fail or pass, everybody has access to that. Now, on the order of about 30% of all people who graduate from high school ascend to college. 30%. And it's only 4 years. So how can we afford to pay for 13 years for 100% of the population, and we can't figure out how to afford to pay for 4 years of 30% of the population? We have that's literally not logical, right? You will. Here's the other thing. If you go to kindergarten, first, second, third grade, and your child fails third grade, guess what? The state says that's okay. They can come back and do it again. So now we're paying 14 years for that kid. Or you see what I'm saying? The logic is we pay for 13 years of 100% of the population. Only 30% of the population is even interested in only 30% of the population goes to college. And it's only 4 years. We have to figure that out.
Yeah. Last question.
Nope. Whoa. You got to answer the question.
I think I agree with both. I think that, what you said, Lamont, about the middle class, I think is extremely important. Again, that was one of the things, on the weekend, I'm a binge watcher of like a lot of and read like a lot of them, Black history and so forth and so on. That's just kind of my thing. But even like looking, taking a note from, that documentary Driving While Black, and when I guess the great migration of, Black people when they came from the South up to the North, and they started working, even though it was bad conditions, but even though when they started to elevate, and grow in the job opportunities in the plant, and they became in that middle class, it gave the opportunity for their kids to go to school, the kids to be able to have better opportunities for clothes, and to be able to, just travel, and to be able to go places and to do things. But also it gave way for us to also be able to support your local cleaners and your local barbershop and your local restaurant and your local, community. And I think that the middle class is definitely important in, rebuilding that. And I agree with, with you and what Maynard is saying as well about education and really investing in education and really making that a staple. I would really like to see, this is kind of far-fetched, but I would like to see for this administration to have a relationship with the hip hop artists that are doing things in the community. Killer Mike, T.I., and I think that, let me just start with Killer Mike, because he, in my opinion, is at the top. But I think that conversation can be a bridge between the administration and to the audience. And what Killer Mike was saying about skills trade and about really making sure that young Black men and young Black women, are investing into skilled trade, I think is extremely important, because everybody is not a brainiac. Everybody doesn't want to go to college. A lot of, us Black folks, we come from hard labor. I mean, we were the mechanic, we were the carpenter, and we learned those things on our own. We didn't have the opportunity to go to school to learn how to put on a carburetor.
Right.
I mean, we literally had to learn how to be able to build a home.
Can I say one thing in this? But I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
A lot of times we were the carpenter. We were the contractor. We were the hustle guy. We were the guy, and
right.
Some larger contractor had the contract and gave us a piece, or they found us like they do today. Hey man, you want some work today? And so much of that has been related to who has the license, and so much of where the license was oh, you don't read well, oh, you don't qualify for X, Y, or Z. And that's when I say education. Again, it's not always college. it can be learning a trade, like Lamont always advocates for it. But learning to read and learning math will make you successful. Sorry.
I also think that, what I would like to see is some of the responsibility put back on us. And not in the sense of, here, you go do it, but building a bridge of, don't expect for, Kamala and Joe to do all of this and to come in and save the day. But I think that they can all actually start to put into place, into practice of, we want to work with you to be able to start the things that what you're talking about, Maynard, of education and relearning, reinvesting in your community. How do you rebuild the middle class, entrepreneurship, and so forth and so on? Because I think a lot of people, and I understand that on Saturday, it was a lot of buck dancing. It was a lot of worms on Black Lives Matter Plaza. And it was a lot of, trust me. Hey, man, listen, I got my Biden-Harris, cup, and I toasted it up. You know what I'm saying? Me and my wife toasted it up. And I watched the, the thing, and you know what I'm saying, the acceptance speech or whatever you want to call it. And like they said, like, Kamala said, like, hey, look, now the real work begins. And that work is not just on the administration. That work is also on us as well. And going back to, Maynard's point, that is also holding them accountable for the things that we want to see out of them. And now we put y'all here now. Don't mess this up. Like, I got the cell phone number. Like, don't make me call nobody. But anyways. We are out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for listening to this episode or watching this episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. Can I give a shout out to a couple of people? Shout outs to Roderick. Shout out to Tina. Let me see. Roderick.
Camphor.
What's my other man's name? Payne. Is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Major Payne.
Shout out to Payne. Damon. Shout out to Lakeisha. Shout out to what's the other girl's name?
Oh, Danielle. Where's Danielle tonight?
Danielle. Shout out to Danielle. Our tribe, you guys are with us every single week. My wife, you guys are with us every single week, man. And we appreciate that. We love all 7 of y'all. But you know what? I want to give you guys a shout out because we've been doing this podcast, We've been doing this podcast 3 years.
No,
but
we started. Remember, we started before
4 years.
We started right before Hillary and Trump were in.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So you guys have hung in with us.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, what's up, Danielle? But you guys have hung in with us week after week. We have had some great shows. We've had some boring shows. And you guys have continuously watched us. And we appreciate it. Even you, Michael, you come in, you pop in, every now and then. And we appreciate that. And you guys don't understand how much you guys' energy keeps us going every single week. Cause there'll be some days where we like, I ain't going. But we continue to do it for you guys. And so we truly appreciate all 7 of y'all for sticking with us for the last how many ever months. And that's why we are, always saying, share this with your friends. Let people know, that we hear what we're talking about. We want to continue to grow this conversation. Subscribe to our podcast. That's how we grow. Like the podcast and share it so that way we continue to, get more people engaged in the conversation, because this podcast is all about making sure we engage not only Black men about the political process and about the things that we got going on in the Black community, but also, Black people as a whole. So,
Lamont, it look like you got a fan, Lamont.
I feel like because Spuddy robbing me, he wrapped up, I wanted to talk about the spirits from Africa. The spirits from Africa.
You want
from Africa.
Can I give you those?
Can we just play it? And can we just play the whole thing, please, man?
Yeah, sure.
for every enemy that is aligned against you. Let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the quarters of heaven. In the quarters of heaven, victory, 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 victory. For angels are being released right now.
Keep it going. Come on.
Dispatched right now. Hamanda aka ata raka teda baka sanda ata ambo osa kata rite eke banda ata rike didi ashata. For angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. Angelic reinforcement. Fika hata anda ata ora bata rata. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound.
Listen.
I hear the sound of victory.
Mama say, Mama say, Mama say.
Where is the boy going on the stage?
No, y'all. Why is it that the angels got to be dispatched from Africa? We don't have a closer dispatching arena area. We ain't got no dispatch in North America.
We're not
they
no
got
local.
To fly all the way from Africa.
No local customer service representatives.
Right. We ain't got no customer reps in the U.S. Come on, Spud. Come on. You tried to get out of that one. Getting dispersed from Africa? Is that what we doing?
I never saw that. It's the first time I've seen that.
Oh, come on, dog.
I have not seen that. That was the first time I saw that.
I'm waiting for the remix too, Tina. The remix is gonna be dope. Somebody gonna auto-tune that joint.
That girl was on beat. They didn't even need to put no track up under because she was hitting it. So then I don't know nothing about Paula White, so I didn't know that her husband is the drummer from Journey, the rock band.
Oh wow.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that she down with TD Jakes. That's her people. Okay, listen, I get it, whatever. But I'm just trying to figure out why did the angels have to be dispatched from Africa? I mean, do we get on a? Can we get a special group from Africa over here? I mean, and again, what she's talking about is that Donald Trump being the president. Yo, dog.
Donald Trump is the president.
No, for his re-election.
He did
That's
win.
What that whole,
Kenny Copeland already said it.
Yeah, she's Donald's spiritual advisor.
But did you get the?
I didn't know that. We
the Kenny Copeland.
Why didn't we lead with that?
I told y'all don't listen to me.
Hold on, but Kenny Copeland came out and gave his speech.
The media said what? The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
Joe Biden ain't president,
on the black dude.
Field and House. Field and House.
The one thing I am gonna miss about Trump is that we're gonna have to find some things to talk about, boy.
Listen, them boys at Fox News said he already coming with a new network, so we good.
Wait. Let me go to the Fox News. I was listening. I said, let me listen to Fox News on Saturday. I was like, let me see what they talk about. They was really, really dry on Saturday.
Ooh, dry as a chicken.
They was really, really, really
Let me tell you what they were like. They were like, Miss Sealy, I was in that store and I was mighty low. Mighty low.
Well, the weather today is going to be 64 degrees. Regular news, boy. It had no commentary happening.
They're talking about the new Busta Rhymes album.
All right.
I hear the sound of victory. The special blessing is coming from Africa. It's on the express. I done called that.
Maybe she should have actually got some people closer. Maybe that would have changed the outcome.
Right.
And you lost. Hey, look, let me say one thing. I know we went over, but I put this on Facebook the other day, and it's true. Before the election, I had a whole lot of people who are on the right, who are connected to me on Facebook, that were putting up all kinds of Sleepy Joe comments, all kinds of you libtards this and libtard. All of a sudden, come Tuesday, all of a sudden, all they could put up is pictures of food. How you go from being the Fox political junkie to the damn editor of the Ladies' Home Journal food critic? To kind of, you gonna take this ass whipping. You ain't gonna mess around and act like that shit didn't just happen. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But y'all lost.
Diamond and Silk is a wrap, Michael. Diamond and Silk is a wrap. The sheriff out of there. All these, the pastor.
I'm not giving nobody no slack out here.
Kanye out of there.
Oh, Kanye running 2024, he said.
Kanye need to sit down, man.
And he want a recount. Kanye wants to recount. He thinks he can get
recount where?
Kanye think he can get some more votes.
Watching. We are out. Thank you so very much. We'll do it again next Monday, 7 o'clock. Make sure you tell your friends. Set a reminder on Facebook so that way you are here and share it with your friends. 3 Black Guys with the Mic. We are out. Peace out, y'all.
The media said what? The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.